Hey geeks, it's Andrea. It is day 26 of Horror Month 2017. We are almost done with our 31 countdowns in 31 days for this year, but we still have a few more to go. Today we're going to take another look at some movies that are inspired by real events. You know the movies, the ones that say based off of a true story. Alright geeks, let's go! The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We already spoke earlier this month about how there are so many movies inspired by one of the most famous American serial killers, Ed Gein. Although Gein only confessed to killing 2 women, many people believe that number is 7 or higher. It's just a bit difficult to say given the fact that before he committed these murders, he robbed so many graves for parts. Gein used these parts to create things for his house. For example, turning skin into leather to make things like seat cushions or lampshades. I'm not going to share these pictures here, so you'll have to do a quick Google search to see those for yourself. One of the things that he did was create several masks of women from women's entire faces. This sounds a bit familiar to a certain movie about a killer called Leatherface that lives in a decrepit home with his cannibal family and interesting decor. Annabelle. Last year during Horror Month, we spoke of the possessed doll named Annabelle. Of course, the movie is quite different from the actual story. The inspiration is still there. Instead of this possessed rag doll, the movie chose to make the doll look creepier to help give the audience the creeps without even knowing the story behind it. The real story of the doll is pretty creepy. Because we went into details of it last year, I won't right now. I'll try to remember to include a link for you though. But you know, if a doll is kept locked in a box bound by ritualistic prayers and is blessed by a priest regularly, it's just not a doll you want to mess with. Borderland. Borderland is a 2007 movie, loosely based on the true story about a religious cult that believed in and practiced human sacrifices. In 1989, the group kidnapped and murdered a student from the University of Texas by the name of Mark Kilroy. The movie itself obviously takes a lot of liberties, and it doesn't disrespect the memory of Mark Kilroy by bringing him into it or anything like that. It's instead 3 students from the University of Texas wanting to take a little vacation. In the end, for me, it's still a movie that I don't find super appealing. It's a gruesome and violent horror movie, which just isn't really my thing. If it is for you, that's great and fine, it just isn't my cup of tea. I'm the girl who buries her face in her hand at anything graphic being on a show or movie, so I just don't think I have it in me. But knowing that it is inspired by real events does make the fact that the movie exists more interesting to me. So what about you? Does knowing that it's based off of real events make you more likely to see it? The Strangers. There have been several movies like The Strangers, where a group of people break into a house and torment and perhaps even kill a family. For example, in 2007, just a year before The Strangers came out, there was a movie called Funny Games starring the oh-so-handsome Tim Roth. One of the differences between these other movies and The Strangers is The Strangers claims to be based off of a true story. That being said, it is very loosely based off of a true story. The real story is that when the director was a kid and his parents weren't home one night, someone knocked on his front door. Whenever his sister answered, they were asking for people that didn't live in the house. They later discovered that those same people were going door to door knocking on doors in the same manner. If no one would answer the door, they were breaking into the homes. So yeah, it's pretty loosely based off of a true story. But hey, the story written for the movie is still terrifying. After being pretty mocked for this, the sequel coming out next year does not appear to be advertised as based off of a true story. The Possession. The Possession is inspired by the Dybbuk box. If that sounds familiar to you and you were with us last year, it's because we did indeed go over the Dybbuk box also. I think even in the same video. To quote myself from last year, a Dybbuk is an evil spirit that haunts and possesses living people. So the real story is about a box that was holding a Dybbuk. Owners of this box have gotten very sick and had severe nightmares. Right now the location of the box is unknown because they clearly don't want anyone to find it again. Of course, the movie does make it a bit more interesting than someone just having nightmares and getting sick, but they have to make it interesting to watch. I remember liking this movie, so I recommend checking this one out. Alright geeks, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Believe it or not, we are almost done with Horror Month. I'm gonna include a link in the comments every day this week for our Discord, so you can come and watch a horror movie with me and some other geeks on Halloween night. Also, the t-shirt isn't gonna be available to purchase much longer, so be sure to get yours before it's gone forever. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on your way out. Alright geeks, I will see you tomorrow.